Hey, hey. Hi. I've been meaning to make this video for a while. I want to talk about how I made the decision at the beginning of 2020 to spend a year being abstinent, and why I made that decision and what has come about because of that decision and how I'm feeling about it now that it's 2021 and my year of abstinence is over, and what that means going forward and how that has completely shifted how I'm showing up in my life now. So as some of you know, because I shared this early on in 2020, I had gone through a breakup. It was painful, it was surprising, it was all the things that you don't want a breakup to be. And it was also exactly the breakup I needed. And it really, really woke me up to sitting with and deciding for myself what I wanted. Like, what do I want going forward? So I had put a lot into that relationship. We'd been together for 3.5 years. It was beautiful and amazing, and I got to experience all these aspects to myself that I'm deeply, deeply, deeply grateful for. And I can see now how important it was for that relationship to end, that it served me and my life, and I think both of us, in a way that was really beautiful and helped us grow. And then it came to an end. And so when it was over and I'm in the middle of really grieving and feeling the sadness around that loss, I was also faced with, okay, how do I want to move forward? Because up to that point, I have basically spent my entire adult life in relationships. I had been married at 19, and we had been married for 17 years. I'd been with the same person for almost 20 years. And then I got divorced, and I did kind of the fun, like, woohoo, like party girl, sleeping around, having, multiple partners and doing the thing and enjoying that to an extent, while also really not feeling totally comfortable in that. Like, I realized even in this year of abstinence, that I'm not built for a lot of partners. Like, I'm really not. Like, I don't want to interlace my energy with a lot of people. So that time that I spent doing that, I'm glad that I did it. I learned a lot about that. But by the time I ended up in my next relationship, which is the one that I said ended at the beginning of 2020, I was ready for that. I was ready for something more committed, more solid, really open, really loving. I was ready to show up in new and different ways, to practice being myself authentically and being honest and truthful, because up to that point, I hadn't really given myself a chance to find out that I could be loved and liked and wanted and seen and appreciated and heard and all those things for exactly who I was, because I wasn't fully showing up as myself. So when I got into this relationship, I was committed to that. That was my commitment in that relationship, not just to my partner, but to myself, to fully show up as myself and be myself in all the ways, right? In the guts and glory of being human in that relationship. And that was beautiful for me. And at the same time, when that relationship ended, it was really, really clear to me that I still hadn't fully given myself a chance in life to really be with myself, to be my own greatest friend, my own greatest lover. There was still some part of me that was really feeling dependent on the other, on having a partner, on being in a partnership in order to feel loved and seen and cared for and heard and all this stuff. Plus there's sort of the confusion of, physical needs and physical desires and desires to be in relationship with another person, and in all the beauty that comes with partnership and intimacy. I loved all of that, right? So when it ended, it was just like, a shot to the heart. And then at the same time, there was a sense of relief that came with it as time went on, because I was like, I've never had this in my life. I've never given myself this much room. And I knew that I had jumped from I'd been in relationship after relationship after relationship, even if it was a 20-year serious one, a bunch of little ones, right? And then another serious one. It was still me always being in relationship or seeking romantic relationship in my life, right? So it felt really good to just be like, you know what? I'm going to spend a year just like not trying to be in a romantic relationship. And I didn't falter for a day. And granted, there was COVID and isolation and all this and that, but for those of you who are single and dating, you all know that you still found a way to be in relationship during COVID. It didn't really matter. So for me, I knew I just wasn't interested in that. And these are the things that came about for me. I went through, doubt, loneliness, fear. I also turned 40 during 2020. So I went through a breakup, grieving, was abstinent, not in a relationship, turned 40, which for me was like the big, the first birthday I had where I really started to feel like, shit, I'm old. Oh no. So I went through all the feelings of no one's ever going to want me or be with me. I'm always going to be alone. I'm getting too old, like feeling my shelf life diminishing as a woman, right? Like that whole thing was going on for me. So what it gave me and what it is still giving me, because it's not like I'm just going out there and jumping into a relationship. I don't really want to do that. What it has given me and what it's still giving me is an opportunity for my shit to come up and to actually work through it and to heal it and to be my own greatest lover, my own greatest friend and ally, my greatest partner. That is me, right? So as all this stuff came up, all the fears, all the doubts around aging and desirability and being a woman and all this stuff, I've had this beautiful chance to really just love on myself and be the person that it is that I want to find in another human being. And on top of it, it's just felt really great to detox from being in relationship. I truly, truly believe that when we are with anybody intimately, sexually, even if it's not sexually, but it's like people who are in our world, in our sphere, right? We pick up on the frequency and the vibes of the people that we're spending our life and our time with. So, and then add on like physical intimacy with that, and we're totally tangling up our energies with other people. So one of my favorite things that this year gave me is a full-on energetic detox from that physical intimacy, but also just a clarity that has come from that detox of not tangling up my energy physically with another person. I am so much more clear on who I want to invite into my sacred space, and of course, who is allowed to participate in the glory of the sacred vessel that is my body, right? So I feel super excited and really, 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 really good about that. What else has come up for me? I've gotten really clear on the fact that I'm deeply grateful for all the experiences I've already had. That even like if my life ended today, or if I was never with another person again, I am so grateful for the experiences that I've had. And going forward, I don't need to be with a partner. Like, I don't need to have a partner. Yes, I would love to have a partner, right? But I don't need to have a partner, and I'm not desperate for a partner. And that has shown me, like this year has shown me that I've always known that's true, but now I really, really know it's true, right? And now that I've spent so much time with me, as me, and with people who, like, friends and those who I spend my time with who fully love me and accept me exactly as I am. And there's no editing, there's no diminishing, there's no dimming my light. I'm just very much myself. I couldn't imagine going forward in a relationship and dimming my light and editing to try to make another person happy, make another person love me or like me. But we don't even fully realize that's what we're doing, right? Until we have a break from it and we're kind of like, wow, I have this habit and we have to sit with it. Speaking of that, I've also been able to recognize that I definitely have deep-seated codependent tendencies, and that's why I teach this stuff. That's because it's very much a thing that I have learned, and so it's been a detox even from codependency, because that's where it comes out the most, is in my romantic partnerships, right? Is just that sort of like needing the other person to be a certain way and me needing to be a certain way for us to both be okay. So again, detoxing from that energy and really finding my center and releasing that stuff. Not that it's not going to come up when I choose to be in partnership again, but I'm just so much more aware of it now that I've had some space. Does that make sense? And then I found out some really great things about myself too. First, I have found out that I am a just hopeless romantic. And for a long time, I used to be super cynical about romantic movies and romantic songs and like all the romance and whatever. But you know what? I'm gonna own that shit. I love the romantic songs. I love the romantic movies. I love the romantic gestures. I love romance. I love being wine-dined romance, all the stuff. And so I've had a chance to really experience that with myself and for myself, to actually be romantic with myself and for myself. And that leads me to another one of the most amazing experiences I've had, is finding out, and again, knowing this, but I truly am my greatest lover. I am the love of my life. And that was a huge thing, and it's still unfolding. I'm not 100% there, right? But recognizing that I am the love of my life. I have the deepest desire to love me just as I want a lover to love me, right? And I actually worked with a tantric coach. I'm still working with a tantric coach, and I've loved that because she said one thing to me. She goes, and that's another thing, is like, I really wanted to explore my own pleasure on my own, right? Without a partner there. And that's been beautiful. So working with a tantric coach, it's beautiful because tantra isn't all about sex. It's like really just all about life force energy and inviting that to like move through your body, right? And to just really be connected with the life force energy moving in you and through you. And one of the things my coach had said to me, she said, you know, like the way that we often pleasure ourselves sexually, it's like very like it's like a quickie, you know, like we're getting in there and getting it done. And if a lover treated us that way and just like wanted just a quickie all the time, we'd be pissed. We want them to take their time. We want it to be slow and romantic and loving and all that stuff, right? So really learning to do that for myself and with myself, to be flirting with myself, to be feeling good in my body, to spending large amounts of time committed to my own pleasure has been absolutely fantastic. And again, that's like a thing that's still growing, that I'm still practicing and working on daily. I don't think that's a thing that we ever really can arrive to. It's just an endless wellspring of pleasure once we start tapping into it. And that's another thing too, is I realize for me, and I think this is cultural, a lot of us jump into physical relationships with people super fast. I know that, well, when I married my sweetheart at the age of 19, we are both, we're both identified as Christian and going to church, and like sex before marriage was bad. And so I can honestly say that the sexual tension that built up in that relationship by the time we actually had sex was fantastic, right? Because we weren't allowed. So we were like kind of pushing the lines on all that stuff. And it was just, oh my gosh, it was just so wrought with pleasure and excitement and it's just so yummy and juicy. And that's something I've realized too in this last year that I crave for myself, and that is so important to me, is going slow, is flirting and creating sexual tension and teasing and humor and having fun before you ever get into the bedroom, before there's ever actually any sexual activity, that you've just like built up all of this sexual tension. And I don't know, I'm really excited about having discovered how important that is to me. Does that make sense? So going forward, of course that's really important. I look forward to going slow. And that's another thing, is now here I am at the end of my year, and I'm not eager to go just jumping in with anybody. It's important to me that there's connection, there's friendship, there's understanding, there's all these other foundational things that exist in the relationship that we're driving on before it ever becomes romantic or physical. And there's actually intention about going slow and allowing there to be some build-up and some teasing and all of that stuff. So anyway, I know there's more things here, right? But those are my primary thoughts, and I've been really looking forward to checking in with you in this way. And for those of you who know that I've been practicing abstinence and have asked me questions about it and have thought about it for yourself, I know it's not for everybody. And I chose to do a year or longer, and I think it'll go until I'm ready, right? But for those of you considering it, it could even be 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever you decide, but making a conscious choice to be abstinent because you want to, for any of these reasons that I listed, right? Or maybe some of your own, in order to detox, in order to grieve, because often when we're jumping into the relationship after relationship after relationship, it's like all that energy just like stacks up on top of each other in our system. And we have all these energies that we've never cleared from our bodies that need to be released and detoxed. So along with this year, and part of the grieving I did is I got acupuncture. I went and soaked in the hot springs. I did soak deprivation tanks. I went to energy healers. I went to therapy. I got massages. I started working out more, moving that energy through. I started dancing. I started laughing, started crying. I would go up into the woods and I would scream, right? There's all these ways to sort of move energy through, to create healing, to release all this stuff so that you can truly be free. In your body, in your mind, in your heart, in your soul, not be tangled up with anyone else's energy, and then start from that set point and become your own greatest lover, right? Because you are the one. You are your person. Yeah, so exciting. Okay, anyway, I'm Jessica Amos. I am a mindfulness and meditation teacher, a truth teller, a life coach, and the founder of Stay With Yourself, which is the practice of being who you are, where you are, right? And that's so much of what this practice has meant to me. I think this is one of the best gifts I've ever given myself, and like I said, I'm just gonna keep going until it feels right to end this abstinence streak. But if you have any questions, if you want to talk about it, if you've had a similar experience, if you're thinking about it, whatever, let me know, leave a comment, message me, all the things. But I'm just sending you so much love today. So happy to be here with you. Happy 2021. There's still work to do, and it's all inner work, right? Keep going there. All right, sending you all the love today. I'll talk to you soon. If you just now are logging in, go back and watch the replay of the video if you want to watch the rest of it. So anyway, it's great to see you here. I'll talk to you all soon.